starting with Notre Dame and Syracuse from Yankee Stadium, 11:30 a.m. on NBC. The Irish are 10.5 and 65 the total. I had a sharp guy, Paul Stone, who's won many contests in Las Vegas, one of the best college football guys there is. He says Syracuse is the most overrated team in the country. They're top 15 in the committee rankings. I guess they beat NC State, and that's just about it. I know, Teddy, you were on them week 1 against Western Michigan, although they had all kinds of problems stopping them in the second half. You got to love Dungy and that offense, and Babers is doing a great job. As you had that preview in that game that Thursday night against Western Michigan saying Babers are going to have a good year here in year 3. So far, so good. Gave Clemson a scare, although Lawrence got hurt in that game. But I'm concerned here with the Irish. They're the better team. They'll be able to move the ball. But the schedule, they got San Diego to take on Navy. Then back Chicago, they take on Northwestern. Then at home to take on Florida State. If they're going to go undefeated, they're going to have to work for it because now they're in Yankee Stadium, New York, and then they have to go cross-country and finish the job at USC next week. Can they do it?
Yeah, and this is legit neutral field. There will not be any crowd edge for Notre Dame here. Syracuse will have plenty of fans in attendance. And in one way, I agree with what Paul Stone said, because when you grade out Syracuse player by player, they don't grade out well against Notre Dame. There are size problems. There are speed problems. You know, when you look at Notre Dame, plenty of NFL talent on that roster. You look at Syracuse, there's a dearth of NFL talent on that roster. But we've seen this Syracuse team more than once give upper echelon squads a real battle. We certainly saw it earlier this season in Death Valley against Clemson when Syracuse went down there and gave the Tigers everything they could handle. Remember, they beat Clemson at home last year. We know that Ian Book's coming back. Ian Book's a stud. The numbers really strong. What, 75% completions, almost 9 yards per pass attempt. That's pretty good numbers for a Frosh. But as you know, Pauly, as the season progresses and as Notre Dame keeps winning, the pressure just ratchets up another notch and another notch and another notch. And I'll tell you this, Dino Babers and the Orange, they're not going to take this game. They're not looking at this game anything other than a potential W. The idea of, well, we can compete and hang out for a while and see what we can do. Reading the local papers from Syracuse, that's not what the Orange are expecting in this ballgame. They're expecting or intending, they don't want to hang, they want to win.
Well, there hasn't been a scare since that Pitt game. They take care of Northwestern. I guess that got hairy for a second, and then Book had the touchdown to put them up 10, and then the blowout win against Florida State. You also have to evaluate this team. You got to throw out the first month, even though they had the impressive win against Michigan at home, because you make the quarterback change, and you also get Dexter Williams back, and he's been awesome. And he had a big, strong performance behind that offensive line last week, and a great season for Dexter. They are 15th in scoring defense, allowing 18 points per game as well. So as I said earlier here, if you're anti-SEC, root for the Irish. We don't want to see 2 from the SEC. If they 2 games left, if they can win this and go undefeated and get in the playoff.
Sure. I mean, look, Syracuse is, averaging 44 points a game. Eric Dungy is a stud. This is not an offense that can only work against the lesser defenses that they face. And let's not forget, Syracuse, they're 2 plays away from being 10-0, literally. They lost by Clemson by a single score. They lost in overtime against Pitt in a game that they had essentially and kind of let get away. So we're not talking about a team that anyone has been able to beat by margin this season. Although, again, when you talk about step-ups, Clemson was certainly a step-up. This is a pretty big step up, too. And the one thing that Notre Dame doesn't have, Paul, they don't have this great statistical profile that everyone loves and that forces the wise guy money on the Irish every week. Their stats are solid, but they're not, nothing jumps off the page. You're like, wow, Notre Dame does this really, really well. You tend to see a lot of betting market support for the team with elite numbers on one of the 2 sides of the football. Notre Dame, good numbers, strong numbers across the board, but not the elite numbers on offense or defense that attracts all of that betting market support. Like the show? Help us keep the lights on. Please make sure to comment, share, and subscribe to all the Sportsbook Review videos. Thanks so much. Best of luck. Enjoy the games.